I'm so sick of coming on the internet and crying.
But you just can't stop yourself, can you? Interestingly enough, both the left and the right are doubling down after the election. And I mean, it's good for us, horrible for them. They still can't see why they lost, though. Like with a huge red wave, mind you.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace, I hope that one day I do find you in that women's bathroom and I grab your ratty looking fucking hair and drag your face down to the floor.
I'm gonna go out on an extra limb here, assuming that you have one, and say that I can't possibly imagine why these types of women don't want people like you in their protected spaces. Pimple posted, trans people threatening to kill a sitting member of Congress, justifying exactly why women don't want men in their bathrooms. Nancy Mace of South Carolina, Congresswoman, just introduced a resolution to restrict who can access U.S. Capitol bathrooms, specifically targeting biological men in women's spaces. Mace, who should probably honestly start carrying some because of the amount of death threats she received for saying this is just disgusting, posted this to her ex in response to somebody threatening her. Said, "This is exactly the type of man I don't want in the women's restroom with me." He says he's going to grab my ratty-looking effing hair, drag my face to the floor, bash in my head repeatedly, and kill me. Why do men want to use women's bathrooms so bad that they're willing to kill for it? I mean, you literally just further proved this Congresswoman's point. I think one of the reasons this story got a ton of traction in particular is because some people believe that this was targeted directly at Sarah McBride, who is a new congresswoman, I think a new congresswoman of Delaware, and she is the first trans congresswoman. She posted this to her ex. "Everyday Americans go to work with people who have life journeys different than their own and engage with them respectfully. I hope members of Congress can muster that same kindness. This is a blatant attempt from far right-wing extremists to distract from the fact that they have no real resolutions to what Americans are facing. We should be focusing on bringing down the cost of housing, healthcare, and childcare, not manufacturing culture wars." And then all hell broke loose. This one reporter tried to make Mace look like a transphobic, crazy, bigot person and did not go well for them because she double down on it.
With your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
And it doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
but should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men pretending to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
And listen, I don't think this is bigotry and bullying as Harry suggested. I also don't think that this specific trans congressperson is a fetishist. I do, however, agree with Congresswoman Mace when she said that this is not directly targeted at this specific trans congresswoman. This is a result of everything, a culmination of everything that's been happening in the past 5 years. Again, there is nuance to this conversation, of course. My friend Chad made a really good point on his X feed. He said, "Personally, I think the bathroom issue makes more sense when the trans-identifying man is clearly abusing policies and walking in with a beard. With McBride, you've got a man who's transitioned enough to live as a woman full-time, so it's easier to see it as discrimination." Shortly after this, Speaker Johnson of the House made it official. He said all single-sex facilities in the Capitol and House office buildings, such as restrooms, changing rooms, locker rooms, and are reserved for individuals of that specific biological sex. It is important to note that each member office has its own private restroom, and unisex restrooms are available throughout the Capitol. Women deserve women-only spaces. Sarah McBride responded to this all, and I actually, believe it or not, think it's a really, really good response. Here's what she said. "I'm not here to fight about bathrooms. I'm here to fight for Delawareans and to bring down the cost facing families. Like all members, I will follow the rules as outlined by Speaker Johnson, even if I disagree with them." I actually think this was worded perfectly, believe it or not. Serving the people is about serving the people and not making it about yourself. But this is why we can't have nice things. Because the trans representative from Montana just blew it. She posted, "I literally just get out of meetings with members of Congress and use the bathroom on my way out. Trans women are women, full stop. We're every bit as biologically female as cis women. Speaker Johnson's statement doesn't change the fact that women's spaces include trans women." The truth is, of course, that the death threats and the grave threats are exactly why women need these private spaces. And I mean, they were just flooding into Mace's comment sections and her DMs, apparently. She posted quite a few of them. But as per usual, I don't think it paints the full picture. I think there's, again, nuance to this.
Hey everyone, I seemed to blow up the radical left last night. I filed a resolution that would ban biological men from women's private spaces on the Hill. I'm just getting started, and I've already nowhere near stopping, and the death threats that I'm receiving now aren't going to stop me either. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Come at me, bro.
The Daily Signal posted, there's little recent public polling on men using women's bathrooms, but a 2022 research study found that 41% of Americans agreed that trans people should use the bathroom that matched their birth sex, while only 31% opposed. 28% of Americans were undecided on the issue. In other words, it's again Mace, not McBride, the trans person, who is voicing the view that more Americans hold. And then Mace went on a absolute tirade of posts saying that your mental illness will not become my new normal, but welcome to the war on women. Respect is a two-way street. Why can't men respect that women don't feel comfortable with them in our bathrooms? I agree. But again, there's nuance to this. I know I said that like 5 times already, but it's the truth. Armand on X said, look, I genuinely don't care who is in the bathroom with me, but the law that you're proposing says the person on the left, who is my friend Buck Angel, should use the women's bathroom, and the person on the right, McBride, should use the men's bathroom. And Brad said, by our logic, these people should be forced to enter the women's restroom. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense and will not make women feel safer or more comfortable. Riley had the most interesting point here, and he said, people don't realize how much easier it will be for men to walk into women's restrooms if we try to enforce biological sex use only. It's not like people are doing a genital check. I've said this before. We will be back at square one. Makes a lot of sense, right? Biological men can just walk into women's spaces saying that they're trans men. Nobody's going to do a genital check. I've said this before. I think we actually figured this out 10 years ago. Whatever sex someone passes as, that's the space they should go into. Of course, there's going to be a few people that you can't figure it out. In that case, fly by the seat of your pants, suppose, I guess, you know? And yes, also then the issue becomes like who defines what as passing. But I honestly think that that's like the majority of the public's decision to figure out. And that's how we had taken care of it in the past. But I'm saying all of this because A, this was an interesting news story of the week, and B, because this just shows that the Democrats have still not figured out why they lost the election. Do not go after the women and children.
The radical left is calling me an extremist for being a feminist, fighting to protect the rights of women and girls. If being a feminist makes me an extremist or a bigot or a monster, I am totally here for it, because I'm going to fight like hell for every woman and every little girl across this country to protect you and keep you safe.
Gunther said, with your mindset, the Democrats will never win another election. Americans are done with fantasy gender playing. Nancy Mace again said, this is so strange. 25 years ago, I was celebrated as the first woman to graduate from a formerly all-male military college. Today, I'm being attacked as a bigot for fighting for women's rights. The radical left has lost its mind. And it continues.
You can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We're not the same migrants.
First of all, this is not historically accurate, as most people have been slaves at one point in history or another, no matter what their race. Second of all, this just doesn't work anymore, honey. Mark said she's a little late to the party. Racism, politics don't work anymore. Colin said someone should show her the election results, and I agree.
What's your name again, young man? Phil, like, what can I do for you? Why do you look like a girl? Why are you wearing earrings and prancing around with... Oh my God.
Okay, it's the protruding head vein for me. LA Lesbian said she's been disowned by her friends for voting for Trump. This is why you lost actual liberals, by the way. I am officially no longer identifying as liberal. The way liberals are reacting to RFK Jr. saying certain ingredients are bad because they don't like some of his other stances are insane. The way that they are attacking me for defending this particular legislation he is pushing is crazy. Saying that RFK is wrong about the food crisis in America just because you don't agree with some of his other stances is wild to me, which is basically attacking anyone who doesn't fully agree with you. You're not trying to work out the problem. You're attacking a person. This is why you lost the gays.
I don't talk shit. I see you doing bullshit. You don't come here and female. You are misleading the children and you should be dead. You don't like peace. You don't like natural. Shut the f up. If you do anything, I will beat you, beat your father, beat your mother.
Allowing people from third world countries to literally flood over the borders and attack actual homosexuals for simply existing, even if it's verbally attacking. Like, come on, like I should be able to exist peacefully in my home. And remember, your pick, and I'm putting that lightly because she wasn't really picked, Kamala, had 3 times the money, probably around 80 to 85% of the media in her favor, and almost every single federal institution, college professor, and yet she still lost. This is where you lost the people. This is why you lost yourselves. This is why you're lost. Rick said, because if they don't externalize their hatred of themselves onto those around them, they'd be forced to look inward at themselves, and that scares the hell out of them. This is just one way they've lost the plot.
I actually don't teach what's in our curriculum. I'm teaching children social studies that's not in our curriculum, teaching them things about how to be an anti-racist. I taught them about protesting. I taught them about Black Lives Matter.
This is why society in general is lost. I'm just going to end the video with this because I feel like this is where me and the majority of people are at right now. This was actually a post on one of my videos a few weeks back. Somebody said, I'm so over all of this insanity. How did we get here? And somebody else responded and said, when we redefine what a bully is. And that is the truth. When you redefine words, you learn to control language. When you control language, you learn to control the people. When you control the people, you have a cult. And when the cult is protected, you have bullies.
There is a reason why you may not know any Trump supporters in your personal life, and yet he managed to win the popular vote by millions of people. And it's not because those millions of people are just off in the middle of nowhere. No, these people live among you. The reason you don't know who these people are is because they're silent about their political beliefs. Because for years it's been socially acceptable to bully, harass, shame, intimidate anybody who disagrees with the standard left-wing opinion of the day.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up and go and check out my merch if you want. You can go and buy this 2024 Americans for Common Sense hat. I have a number of other things in my store. It helps support the channel a ton. I will see you guys back here on Sunday with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Keep calling out bullshit. Bye.